Hi and welcome to They Love. If you are new here, my name is Destiny. I love to talk about movies and TV shows and highlight them here. And if this is your second, third, fourth, even fifth video, please subscribe. If you keep on coming back for more, you know you love these videos and you love talking about movies with me. And honestly, I am so excited just for the month of March in general because I have so many upcoming videos covering the Snyder Cut, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Invincible. I'm even thinking of doing a video on Attack on Titan, maybe, when that finishes. But we'll see. It's all coming. I'm very excited. It's gonna be a fun time. So like I said, please subscribe to the channel for more content. So I wanted to originally rewatch Man of Steel because I'm just trying to distract myself from the anticipation of the Snyder Cut and how excited I am. I'm not sure if I succeeded, but I just need something to do. But I originally was not going to make this video. I am going to make another video that I had originally intended to do, which was ranking all the DCU movies before the Snyder Cut comes out, and that'll go up in a day or so. But watching Man of Steel, it inspired me. I just had to make this video because I want to talk about why I think Man of Steel is pretty fantastic. And I especially want to make this video because after rewatching Man of Steel, I don't understand the Snyder / Cavill detractors that don't like this movie. Because here's like a short story time. This movie originally came out when I was in high school, and when I went to the theater to see this, and when I first saw it, I really liked it. I like Snyder's direction. I like Henry Cavill's Superman. I love him as Superman. But it's weird. I remember in high school, I thought Man of Steel was good, but I thought it was slow paced, and it was kind of, again, just slow and getting to the point. And looking back, I'm like, man, high school me was dumb. High school me was so stupid. Because I think the pacing, after you're watching this, I think the pacing is so good. I'll get to that in a second. So you'll see where I rank Man of Steel in general for all the DCEU movies. Again, not DC movies, because then that would include like The Dark Knight and Batman Begins and all that. But just the DCEU, like Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey, all that stuff. So you'll see why I rank it in the video, but this is just a video of me talking about it, why I think it's great, why you should rewatch it. Maybe it can convince you to like it, probably not, but oh well. But I just really want to highlight this movie because I really enjoyed it. Okay, so let's get into it. My favorite thing about Man of Steel is that both the story and the character prosper here. I think that's the main issue that I have with a lot of the DCEU films. With only a couple exceptions like Aquaman. I think Wonder Woman does as well, but it kind of falls apart in the third act. But with other DCEU movies, they either emphasize the plot or they emphasize the character to the detriment of either or. And for me, watching Man of Steel, especially watching it back, like those scenes I thought were boring, I realized even those slow scenes had a purpose. Again, there's a purpose to every scene. If a scene isn't plot driven, it's usually character driven and vice versa. And again, those scenes that I thought were slow in high school, I realized have that purpose of developing Clark's character and his drive and his purpose that he discovers throughout the movie. And after going back and watching it, I realized that there were still minor goals placed even in the character-driven scenes, like when Clark goes to find the alien ship. A small goal would be helping Lois, or the main goal of that would be making sure that the military and the government can't explore the ship and discover its secrets and everything like that. So yeah, I really like how nothing feels like for me. I love the character. Again, I'm gonna get to this later because that's another point. But I like the character development here. But I like that the character development doesn't mean there's no plot. There's no story, and there is a story. So another thing I really enjoyed, which goes into the story, I actually enjoyed this more, again, rewatching it, but I really like the forward-backward of the storytelling of the flashbacks. Usually I don't like that at all in any kind of medium, not just for like superhero movies or comic book adaptations, anything. But I don't like when things go back and forth. That will get annoying. But there was something about the flashbacks, and it made sense where they were placed and why, and what was the message, what was the purpose. Again, everything has a purpose. It's like the flashback of Clark back in school to establish his powers and how he feels so alien and alone and just so strange. even the flashbacks of him saving the children, even his bully, and with saving them from the bus, saving them from drowning when the bus goes in the water, that's to establish that he cannot stop saving people. Which is, again, another criticism I want to address, is that I see a lot of people criticizing Man of Steel when it first came out, and even sometimes now, that this Superman, Henry Cavill's Superman, doesn't save people. And I don't get why they say that, because Clark in this movie cannot stop saving people constantly. And that is an issue when they see him moving the bus and they think it's an act of God, and Jonathan, his father, has that conversation with him. He can't stop saving people. Even Lois emphasizes this. That's how she found him, because she followed the trail of the people he saved. So he's never going to be able to fully hide away if he can't stop helping people, and that's not an option for him. And they emphasize this. So yeah, I think that's a strange criticism of this movie. The flashbacks lead into my next point, which the whole character study of this film. I really love character studies personally, especially when it's a character that we all know in some kind of way, and it's really exploring that character in a new way, in a new mindset, a new interpretation, but while still being respectful. So I like that the flashbacks give a good glimpse into who this Clark Kent is and how he ultimately becomes the Superman that he's meant to be. Like I said, one flashback is to establish his powers and how he feels so strange. Another is to establish that he won't fight back against bullies, even though he knows he'll win, because it's not a fair fight. Another one establishes his literal good soul by saving his classmates, even his bully, at the risk of exposing himself. Another flashback establishes, doesn't really establish, because it's something that's laid through all the flashbacks, but how he ultimately had to let his father, Jonathan, die because he really felt that the world was not ready to see that he had powers in any way. And again, another thing about this film that I didn't really reflect on when I first saw the movie. Again, high school me dumb, but I like Jonathan Kent actually, because I like that he's portrayed as not being a perfect parent. He doesn't always have the right answer, and he just really wants to protect his son, and he really believed that the world was not ready to see someone who is alien from them, and in a way he was right. But I like that portrayal of him, because sometimes when you have these parent characters, the mother, the father, they're really portrayed as just knowing everything. And I just don't understand that, because parents are human beings too. They don't know everything, they make mistakes, and maybe it wasn't always the right choice to make Clark feel even stranger. He didn't really have all the answers. And another thing, going into my next point, is the themes of the movie. And I think the main theme of this movie, of Man of Steel, is hope. And I guess this is like another criticism of a criticism, because I don't understand the people who say Man of Steel is, there's this accusation that it's dark. And I can see that if you mean literally, like the actual color scheme, the Superman suit, darker blue, darker red. But, and again, like the color scheme of the film isn't like the bright colors of like yesteryear or whatever. But to me, watching Henry Cavill as Clark Kent, he isn't dark and emotionless. Ultimately, I think Man of Steel is Superman approached in a realistic manner. Like, what if Superman actually existed in our world? It's kind of like what the Dark Knight, like Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises did for Batman. Like, what if Batman and Gotham existed in the real world? And it makes sense because Christopher Nolan is a producer on Man of Steel. So it makes sense that they would approach it in that manner, especially since when Superman Returns came out, a lot of people rejected that movie because it was too campy, Superman didn't throw a punch, so they have Man of Steel and it's too dark. Okay. And again, this is an origin. This is a story of Clark Kent discovering who he is, Kal-El, and becoming who he's meant to be, Superman. He doesn't have all the answers. He doesn't know everything. He doesn't even know who he is at the beginning of this. He doesn't even know who he is in the middle of this. It's an origin story. So to kind of want the Superman of the 70s, 80s is just unrealistic. And again, with hope, I think the theme of hope is prevalent in everything, like the hope for Krypton to live on, especially with Cal's parents. Yes, they make so many sacrifices, but they do it in the hope that their son can live on and have his own life that he can choose, because in Krypton you couldn't choose what you want to be and who you want to be and how you want to do it. So that was his hope for him. And even in Jonathan as well, even though you may think Jonathan can come off a bit cynical with the world, but I think it's warranted with the way Earth is in general. And again, he does that in the hope that his son, even, his adopted son, can live a life in peace and prosperity. Even Zod is the villain, but he has a hope that Krypton can live on, because that's what he was made to do. He was made to make sure that Krypton is always safe and prevalent and everything like that. And in my next point, I want to talk about the villain, since I mentioned Zod. Zod is such a great villain. I don't understand why I kind of forgot about Zod. Zod is really great. I think that Man of Steel has great villains in general, because you also have Feora, who is very intimidating, very relentless. And I also find it funny that Gal Gadot, she auditioned for that role, but I'm happy that she ended up being Wonder Woman. But all the villains, I think, are fantastic. I like how Zod is a direct foil for Clark. He knows who he is. He is literally bred to be a soldier, a warrior, to protect Krypton no matter what. And he also has a relentlessness even in his defeat. And it's interesting about Superman, he tries so hard to be a pacifist, constantly pushed to his limits because of Zod. And once Zod has nothing to live for, he forces Clark's hand to kill him. I know a lot of people don't like that final scene of Clark snapping Zod's neck, but it's interesting because you always kind of have the Boy Scout characters who have to push their limits and go against, where they have to live more in a gray world. I kind of like the gray. It's not black or white. I like the gray zone. That's probably why I like this movie. And again, I think that was the last thing that Zod could do to Clark, was again to force his hand to kill him, knowing that I think he knew Clark did not really want to do that at the end of the day, but he forced him to kill his body because his soul, which lived on for Krypton, was already gone. And my two last points kind of interconnect into my last highlight about this movie. And so first of all, the music. Hans Zimmer, oh my gosh, this whole theme. Every time the Superman theme, the Man of Steel theme plays in anything, even in that movie Superman, it's just, this music on this film is so good. It's so good. I don't study music, so I can't even go into detail, but it's so appropriate for Superman. It has such a hopefulness to it, a brightness, but kind of dark undertones, but it's not depressing. It still has that hopeful tone to it. And the music pairs into my next point, which is just the visuals. I love Zack Snyder because his movies look like artwork. The visuals are stunning. The visual storytelling is amazing. Even the design of Krypton in the beginning of the film, I think is great. It's a new interpretation of Krypton. And that leads me into my final point about Man of Steel and why I will always love this movie, is the scene of Superman's first flight, which I think is one of the most breathtaking sequences in a movie ever. The music, the visuals, Henry Cavill's acting, everything. It is one of my favorite things about Zack Snyder's interpretation of Superman and Henry Cavill's portrayal is conveying the power of Superman. It's so strange because he's literally called Superman, but since he's always portrayed as kind of a Boy Scout character, you really forget how powerful he is. I love when Kal-El does anything, and especially when he takes off for flight for the first time. Is utterly breathtaking in every way because of the power behind the movements, the music behind it, Henry Cavill's smile. This scene is one of my favorites in a movie in general. I love how he stumbles and gets back up again. It's so uplifting, hopeful, and the main reason why I don't understand why people dismiss this movie as dark. Why? Because of the color scheme? How can you watch this scene and still think, oh, this is just dark and depressing? If you don't love Man of Steel as much as I do, that's completely fine. Really, it is. Like, this is just my love letter to Man of Steel, and if you have watched this video all the way through, thank you so much. But even if this video doesn't bring you over into the Man of Steel love train, that's fine, really. You don't have to love everything I do. Again, I really appreciate you just watching this video. But that's why I wanted to make this video, not just to highlight my love for Man of Steel, but I just really don't understand the criticisms of this movie kind of just dismissing it as dark, or dismissing Henry Cavill's Clark Kent as emotionless. I feel these criticisms are moronic and we just did not watch the same movie. So let me know what you think of Man of Steel. Do you like it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? If you do hate it, I actually would like to know why. Because, again, people have criticism of it. Maybe you just don't like Henry Cavill. Maybe you don't like, well, I don't know anyone who couldn't like the music. But maybe you just don't like the direction. Maybe you thought the pacing was slow. Who knows? But again, this is just my love letter to Man of Steel. I just need to kill some time before the Snyder cut. And I was just happy to make this video for you guys. Again, look out for in a couple of days for my ranking video of the DCEU films, and I'll let you know where Man of Steel ranks on in that video. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel for more. Again, we have so much upcoming content. I'm so excited for it. Comment down below again and let me know what you think of Man of Steel. I'll see you guys later.